It's J-Talk. Let's talk about batch hype. Welcome to J-ROYL, everyone. My name is James. This is J-Talk, so let's have a bit of a J-Talk, a bit of a J-Chat, perhaps a little bit of a J-discuss. Whether it's reformulation hysteria or batch hype. In the fragrance community, there's a lot of discussion on how fragrances change over time. Whether it's an advertised reformulation by the company or variations in each batch of the fragrance. In my personal experience, I feel that people are very quick to jump on the reformulation bandwagon when it comes to certain fragrances. Sometimes our memory doesn't really serve us well. It doesn't work in a perfect fashion, and people will often say, when I used to wear this fragrance, it performed so well. Like vintage L'Eau d'Essai, oh man, nuclear stuff. Now it's water. There are certain fragrances that have clearly been reformulated. The Homme Sport is a great example of that because the company came out and said, yeah, we reformulated it. And there's clear differences. The iris is now gone. It's a bit of a different fragrance. But with other ones, we don't really know. I had L'Eau d'Essai pour Homme from the late 90s, and to me, this smells the same. Of course, that's just anecdotal. But the thing is, most of this stuff is anecdotal. There's no objective way to judge what a vintage version of this fragrance smelled like now compared to this. Even a sealed container of the first bottle of L'Eau d'Essai will succumb to the effects of age because it's been sitting around for a very long time. And also, it'd be extremely hard to find that, so why even bother? Another point I want to make is a lot of these vintage fragrances, they smell more rich, more robust because age has killed their bright top notes. The stuff that's very vibrant and zesty off the top of certain fragrances, they're the first notes to go when a fragrance starts to age. That's probably why your vintage batch of Egoist is so rich because it goes right into the middle of the fragrance. The top notes are gone. And ultimately, that isn't a correct representation of what that fragrance was intended to smell like. I'm a believer that fragrance companies don't always reformulate because they want to cut costs and water things down. Sometimes they just want to modernize their fragrances. They want to update them a bit. And ultimately, it's too headache-inducing to constantly search for old batches of fragrance when you don't objectively know what they're gonna smell like. I wouldn't worry too much about reformulations. I think the best policy is to trust your own nose. If you smell a fragrance and you really like it, don't let someone else ruin it for you by saying, oh, the vintage is so much better, dude. There are a few reformulation / vintage trolls that are gonna rain on your parade for having the current version of the fragrance. Don't let them. They're stuck in the past. We all know misery loves company, right? So enjoy your current formulation of La Nuit because I know I do. All of our links to the Facebook group and Instagram are down below. And if you like what you see, then go ahead and subscribe. Do you guys buy into the whole reformulation thing? And more importantly, do you let it affect your purchases? Peace.